My friends, it turns out that being an early adopter of a super expensive piece of technology that pushes the utter limits of what you know might not be always the best idea. And with today, we're talking about the Samsung G9 Odyssey monitor, which unfortunately has been, at least from all retailers, been recalled, pulled from the shelves, not being sold anymore. This was the monitor that so many people were excited for. Linus did a video which has 3 million views on it on their short circuit channel. This thing is massive. It's 5120 by 1440 with 240 hertz refresh rate, has HDR 1000 certification. It's a huge monitor. It comes in at a price tag of $1,700, which you would hope that it's absolutely worth it. And it turns out that no, it is not, because of a lot of issues that were reported, at least with reviewers. But then also once the retail samples started coming out, turns out that the quality control by Samsung wasn't up to the par of what people were expecting. So number one, in Linus's video, he talked about how there was some flickering going on with variable refresh rate. I heard many other reviewers actually talk about this exact same issue as well, but turns out that's not the only thing. So let's go ahead and talk about the recall for a second. You can see this article here. Samsung stopped selling giant Odyssey G9 gaming monitors due to manufacturing defect. However, when you go to Samsung, they actually say there is no recall on the monitor right now. But if you go to find out where to buy one of these puppies, yeah, that they don't exist anymore. You go to B&H Photo, where there used to be discontinued, which is for a monitor that was just recently showcased by everybody just a couple weeks ago. This isn't back ordered, this is discontinued. You go to Best Buy, try to search for the Samsung G9 where it was on sale, and it doesn't exist anymore. Well, also Micro Center was sending out these messages saying, "Thank you for pre-ordering the Samsung gaming monitor. We have received the product. However, Samsung notified us today that they identified a potential product issue and recommend that the product not be released for sale. We hope to have further information by the end of next week. We truly apologize for yet another delay, and we'll be in touch with you once more information becomes available." So this thing pushed the utter limits, but there's not a huge amount of information why it's being recalled. Obviously, we see here that they found a product issue. If we go over to Reddit, we actually see that there's speculation that number one, it may be due to the flickering with regards to variable refresh rate, and how this is actually a hardware issue and not something that can be fixed with a software update. And it may be something that Samsung skirted in order to get the G-Sync compatible certification from NVIDIA, but without actually matching, the fact that you shouldn't have flickering at all, right? You're G-Sync compatible. You're supposed to have the best of the best. Well, it doesn't actually work that way. However, there's also another major issue that's cropping up with these, and that is the fact that there are panel separations going on between the actual main frame of the monitor and the LED backlit panel. So you can see right here in this video, there's that little gap there, and that is not the only gap that I've seen. So that actually allows the LED back panel to bleed through on several monitors. If I go over to this video by Epsilon Tech, he showcases this pretty well. You can see right up there that there is indeed an issue where the panel is separating from the actual plastic shell of the monitor, and it's not the only one where this has been reported. You can see several other images of people on Reddit reporting this one issue, where it's one thing to have panel bleed like you would experience on an IPS monitor. That is a quality control issue that crops up all of the time. It's another when you can actually see the gap on a $1,700 monitor, which again, I think is probably the major thing that is coming out here, is that people are paying a huge amount for this monitor, have been waiting months for it, and then coming out to see not only number one, are there quality control issues on the physical product itself, but then number two, there's quality control issues when it comes to the actual display quality, when it comes to turning on adaptive sync. In order to get rid of stuttering or tearing, you're then introducing flicker of the panel, which is just introducing another issue whilst getting rid of others. So this necessarily seems to be a product that might be DOA at this moment. Maybe Samsung will come out and say at some point that number one, there is an official recall. However, obviously, if you've only ever shipped out a few panels and it's not in the hands of the general consumer, and you're only pulling it from the store shelves and not necessarily from people, then it's not technically a recall. It's not a consumer facing recall. And you allow everybody who owns these monitors to then submit for an RMA and get a new one in replacement, or maybe credit towards something else? I don't know. It definitely seems like Samsung doesn't have to own up to the fact that there is a recall if they never actually put these into the hands of the consumers. I've also read on Reddit about a few people who have actually submitted RMAs for these, but the processing time is over 2 months, which is going to result in them not getting a new panel in quite some time. So it may be that Samsung is trying to fix this for the people who purchased it. Whether or not this ultimate gaming monitor will come back out on the market, who knows? I think at the very least, we can be thankful that they're not exploding like some other recalls that Samsung has had to do in the past. And yes, the Samsung G9 insane monitor, 240 hertz, 32 by 9, 49-inch ultra super wide curved gaming monitor. It seems like it's DOA. Not only does it have these issues, but it also cannot be run at this point. Like, there's hardly a graphics card that can process this. Obviously, we're awaiting the RTX 30 series and the next generation of AMD cards, which may be able to drive it. But I think until that point, Samsung might want to take a look at how they're actually dealing with these quality control issues. But personally, this sucks. I was actually looking forward to maybe considering getting one of these, and now I cannot at this moment. Were you planning on picking one up? Let me know down below in the comments. Does this affect you at all? Sucks to be an early adopter, but from what I've read, this is kind of par for the course with Samsung on their super early gen pioneering flagship monitor specs. They don't necessarily always get it right at the launch window. But would you be comfortable buying it if Samsung came out and said that they fixed these things? Did any of this affect your purchasing decision? Did you have a pre-order on place that you've already canceled? Let me know down below in the comments. And while you're down there, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Get subscribed to Brainist to stay up to date on everything we do around here. And bye.